Ladies and gentlemen, Trump Republicans will take over the House, almost certainly the Senate in my view. The contests are tightening up. Oz, Fetterman, you can look, Philadelphia Inquirer, the Pennsylvania Senate race is tight, and Oz closes on Fetterman. Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Fetterman's lead in U.S. Senate contest is shrinking as Oz wins over GOP voters. You're going to have not only Herschel Walker and Warnock, they're basically tied. You have Nevada that's going to go Republican. You look at the Cook Political Report, and the toss-ups are Warnock and Cortez Masto, Nevada. Cortez Masto, Laxalt is up in Nevada. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but those polls show that Laxalt is up. And anyway, the polling industry favors Democrats. That's why they were dreadfully wrong 2 years ago and catastrophically wrong 6 years ago when I said Clinton would lose to Trump. And nobody believed me. And then I've been telling you, ladies and gentlemen, how many times in the comments section, I know I'm annoying, but how many times, it's part of my charm, how many times have I told you that the economy is going to collapse? I have probably stated that every single segment 4 times a day since September of 2021. How you dealt with me is unbelievable. Must have been annoying to always hear the economy is going to tank. Make sure you have enough savings. The stock market Dow is going to get way below 30,000. I wrote that in the Federalist. In October of 20, watch the playlist. Watch the shorts on this channel and hit subscribe, by the way. We are going to zoom past 200,000 subs this month. It's because of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have from now until what? November 8th. It's October 1st. We have until November 8th is the midterms. Okay. And we're going to have an economy in free fall. Unemployment will rise, poverty will rise, food shortages will take place. The stock market will probably descend or even crash within a 1 day, 2, 3, 4,000 point drop. There was a Lehman Brothers moment in the UK that was averted for the time being by the Bank of England. We are now seeing headlines, Lehman Brothers moment averted. And I'll read you what took place a little later in this segment. Interest rates are going up in a shrinking economy. We are in a recession. It is getting worse. And the momentary boost that Democrats have had from the Mar-a-Lago raid is meaningless now. You have CNN, impeach Joe Biden. Republicans are already talking about it. Of course they are. The impeachment proceedings are going to take place in January and February when Republicans are sworn in and they take over the House. It'll be Trump Republicans. It won't be Paul Ryan and the Mitt Romney and Lincoln Project good Republicans who want never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts and who side with Democrats on every miserably failed foreign policy and domestic policy. You have Biden presiding over a catastrophe in Europe. An absolute catastrophe. I'll take Trump's insults, okay? I'll take his insults. I'll take his personality. By the way, you know what? He's usually insulting people who insult him. He's a counterpuncher. But anyway, I'll take his personality. What did Trump do to you, morally superior liberal Democrats, for you to literally vote for poverty? Like, what did this man do to you? Oh, democracy has nothing to do with what Trump feels about anything in particular, or what you or I feel, or our opinions on anything. Democracy has nothing to do with public relations polls, or opinions, or controversial stances on anything. Democracy needs an actual functioning economy to prosper. Okay? And we have an economy in freefall. You can impeach Biden on his economic record. It's not just a recession we're in. We're going to have layoffs. We're going to have unemployment. We're going to have a contracting economy, but shortages, food shortages. The big issue is layoffs. and the Lehman Brothers moment here, where you have a too big to fail crisis. You have interest rates going up in a shrinking economy as inflation is at 8 to 9%, while mashed potato brains Joe is saying hello to deceased colleagues. If he's not shaking hands with ghosts, he's now saying hello to deceased colleagues. You're talking about somebody completely out to lunch. You think our adversaries and our allies don't know? Everyone knows. Democrats live their lives by the following motto: as long as Trump isn't tweeting. Tactical nukes in Europe, God forbid, as long as Trump isn't tweeting. Recession, as long as Trump isn't tweeting. Food shortages, as long as Trump isn't on social media. Layoffs, recession, real wages down. Real wages were up under Trump. Real wages down 4.4 to 5%, as long as Trump isn't in the Oval Office and a menace to democracy. And so you have a situation where you have millions of voters who would still rather have a recession than have Trump back in the Oval Office with his personality. But see, again, I don't care about political party or personality. I go by, what did this man do in terms of the economy? We had household median incomes at record highs. And it wasn't $10 trillion pumped into the economy to artificially inflate household median incomes under Biden. Okay, you have everybody's income shrinking now, paychecks shrinking now because inflation's at 8 to 9%. I mean, would you rather have inflation at 8 to 9% with a geopolitical nightmare in Europe and a shrinking economy and a stock market crash and retirement accounts dwindling? Would you rather have that with Democrats, or would you rather have a great economy with Trump? Because they're going to impeach Biden, mainly because of Hunter and the graft and bribery. I mean, that's obvious. You don't, the rebuttal to morally superior, highly educated, wonderful liberal Democrats is read the New York Post and Daily Mail and Federalist and there's maybe a handful of publications actually doing journalism. And they're not covering, if Trump had emails if Kushner or Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump had emails saying, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? Everyone at the New York Times and the Washington Post would care. Graft and bribery are serious issues, along with inflation, can actually cripple and decimate governments and societies. And so you have a situation where if it wasn't for Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert propping up the Democratic Party, if it wasn't for these people like in the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, social media algorithms covering up the Hunter story 2 years ago, loyalists in the Federal Bureau of Investigation and other agencies actually resigning because they helped cover up negative stories about Hunter. The average morally superior liberal Democrat doesn't know anything regarding the corruption on their side, which is infinitely worse than anything you could level at Trump. With Trump, what they do is the following. They say, he did this, he did that, he did this, he's guilty of this. It's hyperbole. It's apoplectic, almost always hysterical, baseless allegations against this man, and they never indict him because they can't prove their claims in a court of law. Now, we already know they set up and framed Trump. You have a Federal Bureau of Investigation counterintelligence agent saying, we'll stop Trump. It's in his text messages. The Inspector General watched the short on this channel along with James Comey. Comey says, you know what? Clinton broke the law. We're not going to indict. He said that in the short. It's 16,000 views. Watch the short. Watch the stock market crash channel right now. Also, in H.A. Goodman's other channel, I'll stepping up work on both of those starting today. Should be a segment out right now, or no, in a couple of hours on both channels. So definitely check out those channels and be here for the live stream. I'll have a live stream tonight, but I'll have a major live stream in November 8th. It'll be 6th, 7th, 8th. We have the Durham Probe Special Counsel trial on October 11th, just 10 days from now. Okay? And you hear this, it's winding down. It's not winding down. He could demand another grand jury. He'll get the conviction and he'll get Trump Republicans in office, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and you have all of media that they were obsessed with the Mueller probe. Mueller found absolutely nothing. Nothing. They accused Trump of working with the Kremlin. Not only did they not find that, but now the invasion and the tactical, God forbid, nuclear issue is taking place under Democrats. It's like we're talking about nuclear annihilation, and I had the nuclear confrontation channel, and then I redid the other two channels, but I've been pretty spot on. I told you things are going to get worse in terms of nuclear confrontation, in terms of the stock market crash, the economy, everything. Trump, this would not have happened to Trump. Why? Because he would have negotiated between those two countries. You need to negotiate instead of Armageddon, which is what we see now. What point? And then the Democrats are, our alliance, our allies. Our allies are doing horribly in terms of the economy, and they've done nothing to protect that country being invaded under mashed potato brains watch, under Biden's watch. He could be impeached for the economy, but mainly Hunter and graft and bribery schemes with linked to 150 suspicious financial transactions. I mean, it's right there, but they don't listen. They think Trump is the embodiment of all corruption and evil. They are actually okay with kickbacks. They're actually okay with the president of the United States, then vice president, taking money from shady and corrupt business deals. And we know this because of very, respected intellectuals stated, kickbacks not worse than Trump. Trump University is worse. What? How on earth is Trump University worse? That has nothing to do with national security. My God Almighty. You're gonna alter foreign policy because you got money, and then they pontificate about democracy. They cheated Bernie Sanders in 2016. Did I tell you that? Every day I say two things. They cheated Bernie Sanders in 2016, and the economy is going to tank. And they'll cheat him again also. Oh, I'm running again, yeah. Oh, I was cheated again. Iowa's a tough place for me. Oh, wow. Tough crowd. Iowa. He will never win Iowa. Because honestly, even though Bernie Sanders is a tool of the Democratic Party, and he would vote alongside, he would basically allow the Lincoln Project to decide his foreign policy, Bernie Sanders would actually still become nominee. They would never let that happen. He exists along with AOC and others to funnel left-leaning voters, actually Green Party voters, into the Democratic Party. Bernie's a Green Party candidate. Can't have that, though. I love how, oh, by the way, libertarians are like every Senate and House contest, there's a libertarian, but no Green Party candidate. Gee, how did that work out? Gee, that's funny how that worked out. And why would you vote libertarian? See, here's the thing. When I was on the left, I said Bernie Sanders or bust, okay? I wasn't going to vote for Lincoln Project foreign policy, like a neocon interventionist foreign policy that's infinitely more of a danger to the planet than any of the projections pertaining to the climate and all that. Infinitely more. Infinitely more. If you think otherwise, you're probably an imbecile. But anyway, because within a matter of days, you can decimate an entire nation with these conflicts. But here, I don't even know, I forgot what I was even saying. So, Bernie Sanders will never be able to win because he actually has enough momentum and popularity among Democrats to actually become an actual nominee. But they don't want Medicare for all. They lie to their constituents, and the Democratic Party, the electorate within the Democratic Party loves to be deceived. It's like their national pastime. They enjoy it. Then they talk about democracy. So they cheat Bernie Sanders, then utilize him to funnel votes back into the Democratic Party. It's a pretty overt racket, but nobody sees it or cares. And then they make little memes of Bernie. Oh, look at those mittens. Oh, those mittens are funny. Oh, look, the crotchety old Bernie. And then he'll run again, and then he'll almost get Iowa, but it was suddenly he lost last second. How does that work? And then they'll say, Trump, democracy. Anyway, we have a geopolitical nightmare in Europe that Biden can get impeached over. You'll have House Republicans and you'll have Senate Republicans. Very likely the Senate, almost certainly the Senate will become Republican. Okay, if it doesn't become Republican, they barely hold on because everybody on the planet, including from Jimmy Kimmel to loyalists within the U.S. government, everybody's propping up the Democratic Party. Okay, everybody. The Democratic Party is like, it barely exists without all of late night social media algorithms, all of Hollywood, almost every major publication on the planet propping up the talking points. Because you have half the electorate still wants Trump. And that's with 100%, almost 100% negative media coverage on Trump. So imagine if it was just 50-50 or even 70-30. 70 negative, 30 objective coverage. And then the coverage regarding the recession and the stock market crash. Well, you know what? I mean, gosh, what happens if there's nuclear annihilation? What happens if there's a market crash and you lose all your pension? Never, like, if it was Trump, it would be like, Trump, market crash, Trump. You voted for Trump, huh? You deserve to lose all your money. That's what Democrats would say. They would say, that's the way they are. They did it the past 2 years. You didn't do this, you deserve to suffer. Listen to us, as they shut down and lock down economies. And they're wondering why is there a Lehman Brothers moment in the UK? Maybe you shouldn't have shut down your economy like a bunch of imbeciles. The entire planet did the same thing. I'm not talking to the UK. I'm talking about us. God bless my viewers in the UK and Australia, everywhere. India, everywhere. South Korea. I have, thank God, a lot of people around the world watching this channel. God bless you. Thank you. I don't want you to suffer economically, but you had people like we did, highly educated, morally superior, liberal Democrats here in Europe, wherever, who said, shut down everything. It's for your own good. And, then they say inflation's a global phenomenon. Yes, because you have the same imbeciles around the world as we do in the U.S. Isn't that funny? So now we are teetering. We have a sword of Damocles hanging over us in more ways than one. And as this sword of Damocles hangs over us, we say, Trump and democracy, Trump, focus on Trump. But at the end of the day, it's not going to work like that. I'll take Trump's insults. I'll take his tweets. Give us a good economy, which is what we had under Trump. There is no rebuttal to that. We had a infinitely better economy than we do now. And we're having a market crash. And if you say, well, it happened under Trump too. Yeah, well, guess who pushed for those economic policies his last year? You flood countries full of $10 trillion in the U.S. in fiscal and monetary stimulus. Inflation goes up. And now, what the UK did, the Bank of England added more stimulus as they're trying to fight inflation because they had to. Because the bond yields were messing with the retirement industry and retirement funds, and the whole thing was about to collapse. I'll get to that on the stock market crash channel. And anyway, I say, God bless America. You know what? They impeached Trump for having the audacity to ask another country if Biden committed a crime. Oh my God. We know now from those emails he almost certainly did. But if we had this recession, stock market crash, real wages down 4.4%, crime, homeless, everything under Trump, I'd say, you know what? Vote for Biden. If we had an invasion under Trump, geopolitical nightmare, I'd say vote for Biden. I would. I know I'm not bound by a political party. But Democrats, there's no way in a million years. See, I was already tested. I'm not voting for Clinton. And I want a Hillary Trump 2024. I didn't even go vote blue no matter who, and there was immense pressure to do so. I said, yeah, you know what, Bernie Sanders, because I'm not going to get, I wouldn't have gotten what I wanted, which was a scaled back U.S. foreign policy that focused on negotiating and treaties and pulling out Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, which was getting back to the libertarian issue. Why would you vote libertarian if you know that it's going to help Democrats and they're going to do the antithesis of what libertarians want? My philosophy, I knew Trump was the anti-war candidate in 2016. The entire meltdown from media, oh, it was terrible, it was horrible, it was a nightmare. That was a psychological issue with the intellectuals and morally superiors. It wasn't Trump's problem. Trump presided over a fantastic economy and a foreign policy that produced results, especially the Doha Agreement, which Biden completely botched, but we're no longer in that region, thank God. And that was a Lincoln Project, Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld catastrophe from day one. These people fall upwards. They're like football coaches that lose every game and still get hired. So my point is, like, I'm not being, like, hypocritical when I say, well, why would you help Democrats when I didn't care about helping Republicans because it was Trump Republican? Trump Republican actually gave a lot more in terms of, traditionally liberal policies. That's a whole other story. It's too complicated for wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats. By the way, the policies that AOC cared about once and all of these Democrats cared about what's taking place in the southern geographic region of this country, the atrocities taking place are worse than what happened under Trump. Worse. And of course, Democrats don't care. Why would they care? Look what happened in Martha's Vineyard. 2 seconds, and it was like too much. Martha's Vineyard. They're like, this is a criminal act. It's like, you're going to like Beverly Hills or like the Hamptons or Martha's Vineyard. What person would not want to be, if they just came to a country without any money, want to be transferred to Martha's Vineyard? But anyway, the good liberals there, one day was enough. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Impeachment will take place, and it's going to take place probably, the beginning of the impeachment is going to take place in January 2023. Give me your thoughts below. February. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very, very much. The stock market's going to continue to crash. Senate contests are going to... It would be a miracle for Democrats to win the Senate with what's going to take place, unfortunately, with the economy. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.